a teacher turns tech worker in the K-12 Engineering Education Podcast. Today, we hear from Sophia, a former teacher of Austin Independent School District, or AISD, here in Texas. She used to teach all subjects, including STEM, to her elementary and pre-K kids. Why did she leave teaching? I'm Pius Wong. Sophia and I met in Austin to talk just before she was about to start a new position with a tech and software company. Thanks for meeting me here in Austin at a cafe. That's what all this background noise is. But so Sophia, you were a teacher.
Yes.
And you also are a coder.
Yes.
Right, working in tech. So tell me a little bit about your work background.
As a teacher?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I taught for about 10 years in the Austin Public School District. Can I say that?
Yeah. No, you totally, unless you did something illegal, then you probably shouldn't.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught 4th grade, kindergarten, pre-K, and special needs when I was a teacher.
Yeah.
At various different schools.
That's a long time to be teaching, right?
Yeah.
And you're not teaching now, though.
No.
You changed gears a little bit.
A little bit.
Because I understand you went to General Assembly, which is like a web development school. How would you describe that, what it is, like the program that you were in?
I took a web development immersive program. It was a boot camp that lasted 3 months, and it was like 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's intensive, I hear.
It was very intense.
Like, even though it's officially 9 to 5, I heard you all are...
We all stayed after because every day we had homework. So
yeah,
most everybody stayed after to do their homework until, I think the latest, 8 or 9.
What were you learning? I know you said web development, so what does that mean?
We mainly learned JavaScript and a little bit of Python, HTML and CSS, and...
Okay.
a little bit of SQL. I don't know. It's a lot of mostly front end stuff.
So how websites
end.
look and behave a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. So that's different from teaching.
Yes, quite different.
Yeah, what made you think about doing that jump after so many years of teaching?
What made me think about it?
Yeah, we'll start there.
I think it's because a lot of my family's in tech is what made me think about tech specifically.
Yeah.
My sister's a senior UI UX, and my mom is a software developer, and my brother-in-law is a full stack developer.
Oh, wow.
So I saw it a lot. I think I envied their lifestyle, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I guess they probably get paid more than the average Texas teacher.
Yeah, twice.
I shouldn't laugh. That's
thrice.
really sad, but
Yeah.
you're giving me this look like everyone knows this, basically.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely been struggling with. Is the pay? I think it's super unfair, the pay, and especially in Texas. I think that the public probably just doesn't they don't understand exactly what a teacher does.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they don't pay them more. It's funny because when I first left teaching, I really wanted to write a book about what teachers really did, or I thought about making a movie even, because I just wanted to really portray exactly what teachers do on a day-to-day life of a teacher, because it's not what people think, and it's not what media portrays it either. In media you see kids quietly raising their hands.
I see stand and deliver with
yes.
Escalante and but it's not like that.
It's not like that at all, and it's so frustrating because that's what you see in media, and then everyone thinks that they know what a teacher does because they've been in school, or if they've,
or because they've gone through school, they think that their experience is what it is everywhere.
But there's a lot of background stuff that we do. I don't think a lot of people know that there's a lot of paperwork that you have to do, and the behavior management. Anytime you do anything like behavior management or intervention. You have to write a whole other. You have to document everything.
Right,
basically.
right. You said you taught special needs students for a while too, and I'm sure there's lots of guidelines or
specifically special needs.
Okay.
You need to document everything.
Huh.
You're recording everything that you do, all the small group, all of the interventions.
As a teacher, do you get training for that?
We get training for it, but I don't think we get enough training for it, and we don't get enough time to
Trial by
to
fire?
Do. Yeah.
Like you just do it and you learn as you go?
I definitely think teaching is trial. I don't think that I learn. Most of my teaching, I learn from teaching.
You told me before that you had experience developing project-based learning lessons too, and that's a lot of work. That requires documentation too, right? And thinking and planning. How much time does that take? Like creating lessons, all the stuff outside of the class. How much time does that need?
It was a lot of work. One of the biggest project-based lessons or unit lessons that I created was about gardening and the importance of gardening with your students. And it took a long time because I wanted to present it to the district too, because it was something new at the time. We were all following the curriculum roadmaps.
So this is years ago, before the whole push for PBL everywhere.
Yes, but I created basically a school garden to cafeteria table program because I saw that I went to a lot of workshops and I was reading a lot about gardening and about, behavior management as well. And if kids are more out in nature, you're less likely to have behavior problems. And there's a lot of engagement involved in it too, because they were more excited about doing a project, first of all, than like, oh, we're going to learn about measuring, So they were more excited about like, oh my God, so we're going to make a garden, and how big should our garden be? What kind of plants do you want to grow? And how should we take care of them?
And they had to measure when doing
exactly.
that. Exactly. Do the math
so there was a lot
whatever.
of STEM involved in that.
Okay.
There's a lot of measurement. There's a lot of reading involved.
Right.
A lot of research. And
classroom management too, I would imagine, with all these tools lying around and
right, but when kids are engaged, like super engaged in something, there's actually less behavior management that you have to do, because everybody's already super engaged, and you don't have to do a lot of correction or a lot of redirection.
even for little kids.
Yeah, because they want to be a part of this huge project. So in a sense, you're like, are you sure you want to do that? Or do you want to be a part of our gardening project? So it was really good. I saw, like their STEM scores went up, their reading scores went up, their behavior was a lot.
So you actually researched this in your own way. Like you saw if these PBL initiatives actually made a difference in your kids'
And I did
education.
do like trial and errors
of
stuff. I did like mini PBL lessons.
I see.
And then I grew them to be, more.
It wasn't this all of a sudden you rolled out this entire thing.
No.
That's cool. And did you have support in doing this, colleagues, to help you out?
That's why I like pre-K so much. I taught pre-K for most of my teaching years. That's why I like pre-K so much, is because it's a lot of exploration and a lot of, I think there's a lot of leniency on how you teach.
Fewer standards?
It's not fewer standards, but it's, I think you're allowed to be more creative as a pre-K teacher, because most principals and teachers are more concerned about the upper grades,
So they weren't looking at you as closely as they were the high school students or something.
Right. So I'm allowed, they'll allow me to do a project-based learning, and so it's because it's
That's so funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because today they're like, oh yeah, let's do PBL, but back then there was resistance.
There was a lot of resistance still. Because I wrote it for modifications for up to second grade.
Yeah.
But the old way of teaching is it's like lesson by lesson. We're going to learn about addition. We're going to learn about subtraction. We're going to learn about multiplication. But it's not like a unit where the kids are involved and there's you have to learn about the history of things. And I think that slowly after a lot of teachers kind of piloted they saw the benefits of PBL.
Yeah.
And But again, as I was talking to, I was in an interview, and they were talking about how. So he used to be a teacher, and he's like, "How did you, convince them to do this?" And it's a lot of data. I had a lot of my teacher friends record, what their scores were beforehand and what their scores were after.
Yeah.
And what their behavior was before and what their behavior is after. And they saw a lot of positive changes. So I think AISD was focused on data. And when they saw that data, then they were able to kind of maybe look into it. And
that's pretty common. I think what I've heard is educational leadership wants to see the numbers rise. Right. And it's funny that you can measure that behavioral improvement too. There are metrics for that.
I made up my own, but because there's not really. I mean, you can probably find some in Teachers Pay Teachers. There's a lot of like behavior plans that you can put students on. I see.
One of the things that I saw at South by Southwest EDU, which by the way you volunteered for.
Yes.
Forgot to mention. One of the sessions there was about. One of the themes there was social emotional learning, and one of the interesting sessions that I didn't get to see, but it sounded interesting, was ways to measure that. Mm-hmm. So SEL, because I guess that's a popular thing now too.
That's funny because I was teaching for like 10 years, and they changed it. It used to start off with SEL, so social emotional learning, and then they changed it to I forget
some other acronym. Or something.
It was a different. There was like 4 different ones that they changed it to. I can't remember the name right now, but
I'm bothered by all the educational acronyms that I see on the outside.
There's too many. But it's basically the same thing, but like executed a different way, or the things that you say is different.
Can you talk about what it was like to be at South by EDU? Because I spoke to other people about it, and I'm curious to see what your opinion was, since you saw a lot of it as a volunteer on the inside. Yeah,
I was. I volunteered for EDU, and I just kind of picked one room. So I was the sound person. They call it the conference tech volunteer, but I really just pressed the mute button and the unmute button. But it was very interesting because all the speakers, all the keynote speakers, and the panelists were all either in education or involved in education and tech. Ed tech, I think is what they call it.
So like corporate people as well as educational people?
Yes.
Right.
But I think I talked to you about how I thought it was weird that I felt like the talks were essential for teachers and even students to be a part of, but I didn't see very many teachers or students.
There could have been more teachers there, and there weren't.
Yes. Included in the discussion, because the teachers are the ones in the front lines. But then I realized that teachers probably can't afford the EDU pass, and they probably can't go to. And it was not during spring break, so they'd have to take off work to go to the conference. But there's a Slido that you can ask questions.
Yeah, Slido.com.
Yeah,
it's a way to collect.
So I kind of, while I was doing the sound thing, I kind of put in some questions on my phone.
Okay, you asked the speakers quietly.
I asked the very tough questions.
Like,
to
for
the
example,
speakers.
what would be a tough question that you remember asking to someone?
I constantly push, like, what are you doing for special needs kids? Because I worked a lot with special needs kids, so I'm always thinking about, well, how are you going to include the special needs, students with special needs, and how are you going to include refugee students? Because I also, when I first, second year teaching is when the refugee students started populating at Austin's school district. So, and there wasn't a lot of help when I started. So I'm always concerned with the refugee students and with, minority students and with special needs, and also with, I don't know if you know, but pre-K, you have to qualify to get into pre-K. You have to be either homeless or military child, or you have to qualify for the free and reduced lunch to be able to attend pre-K in Austin. Okay. I think right now there's paid for pre-K, but back then it was just.
Yeah.
It's interesting because all the PD that I've ever been to is just, I don't think is very helpful. And I think this is like a talk that's like about the future, and teachers should be involved in that talk instead of, all the other PD that teachers have to go to.
Yeah. What other PD did you have to go to? That was not so good.
The one thing that comes to mind is I went to a tech PD, and it was all about how to use Microsoft Word. How to create a box, and I almost fell out of my I was like, can I leave, please? I'm so I don't need to know about how to make a box in Word doc.
That's not good.
A lot of teachers are not very tech savvy, so I guess it's
It's
necessary.
not very individualized learning for teachers.
No, I think there needs to be a lot more talk about the future of tech.
Yeah.
I think especially in public education, there's not enough technology that's out there that's being used, that could be used to enhance the learning in the classroom. Because it's so... I was telling you the other day about how teachers only recently can search their emails. I mean, on top of everything that teachers have to do,
right. You're bringing
I have to not be able to search my emails.
Nobody did a presentation at South by about here's the new free email system where you can search for things. And
not even the
grading. You were talking about grading.
Oh my God! On top of everything, there's that slide, that scroll within a scroll within a scroll kind of, where you have. Just to put in one grade, I have to move
you have to
1,000 scrolls.
This classroom, scroll down to the student, scroll down to whatever.
So if you click accidentally somewhere else, you have to start all over because
that's frustrating.
It's very frustrating. It's not only the technology that's being used to enhance the classroom, but the technology that teachers have to just put in grades or to.
It could be improved.
To use your email. We're using, I think, Outlook right now, and that's still not the best email system out there. I don't know.
So I'm realizing as we're talking, this could make teaching sound really negative.
I know, right?
But I spoke to a whole bunch of engineers who left engineering and tech to go become teachers.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of the other way around, and I think it has to be heard. You left teaching to work in tech. And you are not one of the people who just left in the beginning. You stuck it out for a long time. Do you think you'd ever go back to teaching?
I don't know, but probably. I think that I definitely still have a passion for teaching. I think as a normal educator, you get burnt out, but I think especially if you know my teaching history, I went through a lot more than I think a lot of teachers, so I got burnt out a lot quicker, I feel like. But I love teaching. I don't think I got burnt out because of the students or because of teaching itself. I think it was just the system that I didn't want to fight against the system anymore to get what the students deserved,
Right, the combination of all the different roadblocks and the lower pay.
Right, and people not respecting teachers.
Is that something you really saw? You didn't feel respected as a teacher?
I think I especially see it trying to go into tech, that I had to change my wording whenever I went to interviews. Instead of saying my students, I said my clients, because the moment I said students or teacher, I could see in their faces that it was that they just heard babysitter.
So you mean interviews with a tech company?
Yes.
Like this traditional, not that you interviewed with IBM, but some company like IBM.
Right.
If they come from a tech background, they were talking to you, they would look down on you for saying students and being a teacher?
I mean, obviously this is my own opinion, but I felt like it was less respected. That they knew that I was a teacher at all.
There's some truth to that. I mean, I keep saying I don't like all the acronyms that are in the education world. Maybe there are things that just people in the tech world don't get.
I don't think it's just the tech world. I think it's a whole of society that does not get what teachers do.
They need to know what you do, what you did, and what teachers are still doing. Right.
I feel like there needs to. I mean, we could talk for days about all the different things that teachers have to do that people don't know about, but it's a lot. It's almost too much. Like one of my teacher friends was saying the other day, I was like, teaching's almost too much, and we're expected to do so much with such little resources, and then, not being appreciated, being told we're not doing enough, things like that. That's
right. I heard someone who was saying, like, I don't know if it was you, but like saying like one person at South by was like talking about this problem of getting
yes.
teachers, and like one person said, well, we just need better quality. We need to hire better quality teachers.
Right.
Not that
yes.
there's no truth to that, but it was like
that was me. I did say that.
You did say that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed off by that because she was. I don't think she was in the classroom. She's like on the board of a district, not in Austin, but. She was just saying we need higher quality teachers.
And there's some truth to that, right?
There is. And I think it's because I got pissed because, yeah, we do need higher quality teachers, but you're running all the higher quality teachers out because you're not. A higher quality teacher will go above and beyond and will stay after and will use their money to buy materials for the perfect lesson, But you're running them out because you're not treating them well. You're not paying them well enough, and you're not
giving them the support.
You're not giving them the support. So a higher quality person wouldn't stay in that.
Because they would realize, like, hey,
wait a minute, I can totally...
You can go work in the tech sector.
I can go work in tech and get paid a lot more.
Right, that's so sad.
And not have to, live paycheck to paycheck,
Sometimes I hear people putting teachers on a pedestal and educators on a pedestal, like, oh, we love our educators.
Yes.
And, like, we should treat them better. And then you have this other side of the conversation where people don't know what teachers do. They don't even care to know, it sounds like sometimes.
I think it's very political that people are always going to say, oh, yes, teachers need to get paid more. Yes. Yeah, teachers do so much.
Smaller classrooms.
Right.
More,
it's like people know that they're supposed to say that. But nobody ever does anything about it. Are teachers getting paid more? No. Like, I know that they cut the education funding in half last year.
Like the state of Texas is no longer.
So it's like there's always
much?
Talk about it because it's politically correct to say that. You see a lot of politicians talk about education.
So they're expecting more of the local communities to pay for funding now. Is that?
I'm assuming, but
yeah.
I left before they cut the funding.
See. Was there anything positive that you had seen in your 10 years that like was a step in the right direction? Project-based learning sounded like one step.
Yes, well, there's a lot of good things going on. I know I'm being really negative, but
hey, we got to get it out. Like, it's hard, by the way, for me to find people like you who won't just read off a talking point and be like, hey, this is reality. So I'm curious, what are some real positive things besides the negative things?
Well, yeah, project-based learning I totally agree with. But there's also a lot of great teachers out there that are busting their asses off.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of focus on, like you said, social emotional learning, especially after everything that's happening. I think there's a lot.
It's a good.
Yes, but I think it all definitely there's a lot of good intentions. I think there's not enough funding to make all of that happen sometimes.
What would the funding go to? Like if the state of Texas reinstated funding or went above whatever it was before and said we can fund these initiatives, what would happen? What would that look like? Because I don't even know what that means necessarily. Like, does that mean more teachers,
there's different
more counselors?
It's weird because there's different funding for different things. Like, we have a lot of funding for like iPads or something, but not enough funding for like a counselor for our school.
Oh wow!
So all the funding, I don't know all the funding comes from different places. So I definitely think there needs to be more funding for counselors. I think that people think, oh, whatever, it's a counselor, but a lot of these schools that I worked at were low-income schools, and they definitely needed a counselor. They come from such traumatic families, and they come with trauma to the school. So
you're dealing with refugees.
I'm dealing with refugees. I'm dealing with kids whose parents are incarcerated. So there definitely needs to be a more focus on mental health.
Do you think some people would argue that that's not the job of schools? Like, yes, you can have more counselors, but a lot of it has to be fixed in the community.
that, of course, there needs to be fixed in the community, but I feel like teachers take on the job of a lot of different things.
Right, that you're not being paid for.
Yeah,
I
like
see.
counselor, mom.
Yeah.
Therapist, curriculum writer, yeah.
Huh.
I always say we're kind of like, we set the stage, we put up the props, but we're also the actors and we're also the makeup. You know, we prepare everything. But yeah, I think money could go towards a lot of different things, but the number one thing that I can think of right now is definitely mental health. I think especially when you address mental health, like how I was saying, if you help students talk through a lot of things, they're more likely to focus on academics. A lot of kids can't focus on academics because there's a lot of things going on in their home life.
Yeah.
And so if that is being supported, then they're more able to, you know, spend most of their energy on their grades and on learning.
Yeah, it sounds like that makes sense when you say it that way, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think smaller classroom sizes would help?
For sure. I think when one year I had 30 kids, but they were 34-year-olds, and it was mostly managing that I was doing. Like, don't run out the door. And
Oh my gosh.
it was mostly managing. You can definitely have quality lessons and quality discussions when there are less students, and you can spend more time with each student. You know.
How do you even bring things like STEM to little kids? Now that you're reminding me of that, like, how do you bring STEM to 4-year-olds or?
Oh, it's easy. Like what I was saying about
Gardening.
gardening. You can pull in math, you can pull in science through gardening. Like I think the first time I did a garden, we saw the life cycle of obviously the plants, but life cycle of the insects that came to visit our garden. Like life cycle of a butterfly, the life cycle of a ladybug.
You had little like terrariums watching the different changes, or
they grew in our garden, but we had little bug catchers that we would bring to our classroom for a little bit just to observe like the different body parts.
what's a bug catcher? Like a?
It's just a container with holes in it, really.
I was like, is it a kid that you told the kid to catch? Right, okay.
Yes, they're all bug catchers.
No, okay. I get it. I mean, we did that. I remember looking at like a butterfly way back in the day or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, they saw the different life cycle, and we even saw a life cycle of a snail too. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Growing their own shell and everything.
Yeah. I think in pre-K it's mostly
Biology.
yes, and a lot of it's measurement, counting, colors, stuff like that. But just also getting them excited about like using a microscope. And using like I had a digital microscope in my classroom where they
cool.
could see more closely all the things in our garden.
Getting them more comfortable.
with
these
that.
things?
Even using a camera. Like I had a little kid who we had different rotations. You know, like you're the cameraman today. You're gonna take pictures of everybody and all that. And they did really well. Like just getting used to technology was something that I did a lot in my classroom. Or getting used to using science tools.
Yeah. That makes me think of another question. They always talked about gender equity in this South by and just in general in STEM. Did you notice at those young ages there was a difference in how girls and boys perceived math, science, technology, any of that?
In pre-K, not so much.
Every kid was a kid.
Every kid just was interested in
learning.
In learning,
playing.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
good
see
to hear.
that so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, actually, in my classroom, you know.
Yes, you're just an excellent teacher.
I'm perfect.
Yeah. Well, okay, you're entering this world of tech now with all of this knowledge with you. How do you think teaching can help you go into this tech world? Like, what skills are transferable?
As a teacher?
Yeah. What knowledge is transferable too?
I think mostly the ability to learn is something that, you know, teachers are always learning different techniques, different skills, and I think the ability to learn is definitely really important. And the ability to communicate, I think in the tech world I saw a lot of people not being able to communicate with each other, and I think that as a teacher I had to be able to communicate with all different kinds of people and be able to communicate effectively, I think.
That's part of what they kind of give you practice with at General Assembly though too.
Right, like working in groups or paired programming, you have to be able to communicate and
In different ways too, speaking over text or email and
through Slack or even in person, and like kind of in paired programming, you have to like talk about what your strengths are. Like, okay, what are you good at? And what am I good at? What are you not good at? Yeah. But it sounds simple, but a lot of people do struggle with.
What's pair programming? How did you?
Paired programming is when basically someone is, they call it the driver. And so if you're making an app, I'll say, oh, you need to pull in this API. And then the other person just has to, basically is doing the programming, but I'm telling them with colloquial words what they should do, what their next steps should be, and then that person will code it, and then we switch, where he or she will tell me, what my next steps are, but not in not like put
a semicolon on line 23.
You're not supposed to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's
cool.
A
lot of communication going on.
There's some translation there.
Yes.
I could see that being useful in the classroom. So you use those same skills. You were talking all the time before. You can translate it to
being able to actually explain hard concepts effectively
to a 4-year-old.
It's funny because they showed us a video of like, especially in programming, you have to be super logical and step by step. So they showed a video of a father telling a kid to keep his eye on the ball, this little 4-year-old kid to keep his eye on the ball, and the kid literally put his eye on the ball. So you have to be very specific when you're coding. Yeah. So I had a lot of practice being very specific, because kids will do that. If you say keep your eye on the ball, he'll put his physical eye on the ball. So the
computer is like a 4-year-old and you have to be careful. Okay.
With a different language, yeah.
Where do you hope to be in a couple of years in terms of your work?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just got an offer at this big tech company, and
which will remain unnamed.
Will be unnamed, but
Congratulations.
Thank you. I realize, I guess, that when you're in a position, when you put yourself in a position to help, then you're more likely to be able to help. So I'm hoping that in a couple years, I'll be able to take this into the classroom or somehow positively affect the classroom in some ways. I don't know exactly what yet, but cool. Right now I'm working on being in a position to help first.
Awesome. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you haven't quite left education?
No, my heart's still there. I think I'm still going to probably volunteer a lot if I have free time.
All right, well, thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Great talking to you, teacher and tech professional. And I hope I see you at South by next time.
Of course, yeah. Probably will.
If you're a career changer like Sophia, jumping between education and engineering or technology, I'd be very interested to hear why you changed careers and how it's been going. Send a message to me or to the show. Details are at our website, k12engineering.net. If you liked this episode, help us out by leaving a rating and a review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or wherever you are listening to us now. Tweet the show, follow us on Facebook, and look out once again for our proposals to upcoming conferences, including South by Southwest. More on that in future episodes. Episode transcripts will be on the website as I get time, thanks to an amazing set of supporters on Patreon. If you like what I'm doing, making this show, talking about engineering education issues freely and openly, please let me know by donating on Patreon too. You can go to patreon.com/Pios Labs to donate, or you can find links to Patreon from the podcast website. Our closing music is from the song Yes and by Steve Combs, used under a Creative Commons Attribution License. The K-12 Engineering Education Podcast is a production of my independent studio, Pios Labs, in Austin, Texas, where I work on several digital projects like this show. Thank you for listening, and please check it out again soon.